Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Mark, or MCV Gaming here, and finally, guys, I'm giving you my whole review and thoughts of the Halo Infinite tech preview that we had already 2 weeks ago. Wow, it seems like a while. I was gonna make this sooner, but got busy with real world stuff, and also had to get my wisdom teeth out, so that was not too comfortable trying to even talk in general. But here we are. It's better late than never. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to address. I only got the invite to play the tech preview on my Xbox One and not my PC. Now, I do most of my Halo play now on PC. When I did sign up for a flight, I did put my PC information, and I have gotten, I played flights with MCC on PC. But I think my DX Diag info was not up to date for some reason, or something happened to it that it just got broke essentially. So did get the invite for that, but I at least played on the Xbox One, and I guess overall it doesn't play horrible on the Xbox One. It's 2013 hardware and it's 30 FPS, and yeah, you're not getting the full experience that you probably would want to get on a next-gen console or PC, but still not bad. But I think I still could provide some good opinions, at least play on the probably the worst way to play it. So the first things I want to talk about are the map. Out of the three maps we got to play on. Bazaar, Recharge, and Live Fire. The ones I like the most are probably Bazaar and Recharge. I really did like the asymmetrical layout of Recharge. I just like the multiple levels it had on the map, and especially just like the abilities, how you grapple and just move around, and allow some interesting flanks and just areas rather than just the boring 3-lane map. Bazaar is another map that I did like. I liked how it was more symmetrical, so it kind of felt definitely more like an arena styled map. And what I mean by that, just that symmetrical layout, everyone has an equal advantage maybe. I don't know really what I mean by that, but just more definitely an arena. The only thing I didn't like about a whole lot was just the lower middle area. I felt like if you're trying to move around from one side of the map, you have to go in the middle, and with the the catwalks around the area, it seems like anyone who's in those higher parts just have the higher advantage over you, and you get gunned down pretty quick. For me, Live Fire wasn't a great map because I just felt like it was just kind of a rather boring map. There's not really a lot of levelage. The only levelage you had was that little sniper tower, and that was. But I think overall aesthetic of that map was really cool, especially how they have Noble Six's helmet and references him, and also Sergeant Avery Johnson, Academy of Military Science. I thought that was really cool. So another thing about the maps, I'm not the biggest fan of how the weapon placement is, and what I mean by this is not actually where the weapons are. They're fine where they actually are physically. It just, I'm not sure how I feel about the weapon wall mounts. I think they're cool to some extent, have them for some maps, but I think when you have just some weapons on these wall mounts, on a map like Bazaar, it really does feel like a simulation more. And I think it'd be just cooler if they were just more kind of laying around. Because someone mentioned, I think it was Late Night Gaming, he said it just kind of tells a story more about the map. I mean, just you have a sniper rifle somewhere on the map just laying around. I think that's kind of cool. So maybe if they could somehow do that, just have some weapons laying around, while rather some are actually on the wall. I think that'd be kind of much cooler. Just so it has that uniqueness. Also, so weapons can move around too. If you throw a grenade, a weapon can get just thrown across the map or something. So speaking of weapons, I overall enjoyed a majority of the weapons in this tech preview. My top three probably were the Heatwave, the BR-75 battle rifle, and the Ravager. The Heatwave, I really enjoyed how it has two firing modes, the wide shot and also the narrow shot. I just think it's cool how they can ricochet off surfaces, and just obviously, there's probably some sort of skill gap of knowing how to ricochet these shots effectively, and I think that's good. I just don't think all weapons just need to be just a point-and-shoot gun. I think when you have these cool gimmicky weapons, it just adds an interesting sandbox effects, just how some of the old games had, Halo 3 with some of the weapons. And the Ravager is another example of one of those guns that has an alternate fire mode rather than just a little smart ADS scope. You could shoot in the burst, but you can also hold it down for the devastating, big shot that has an area denial flames that are coming out. In the BR-75, I mean, the new BR is just beautiful. I mean, it works great. I mean, it's probably one of my favorite BRs today. It just looks great. I'm glad they have the classic BR look rather than the Halo 4 and 5, which I like in their own right, in their own way, but it's just the better aesthetic and silhouette. Another gun that I think was really cool is the Skewer. I didn't do too good with it because it's a pretty hard weapon to use. There's going to be a big skill gap, I think, with using it. And essentially, it's the other sniper, but you're going to have more of a consequence if you miss your shot. I mean, I was using this in one of the firing range, and it's hard to hit shots, especially moving target. You have to figure out like the exact like projectile of this weapon. I mean, it's not projectile based, but what it feels like, and it's gonna be really interesting to see like how people will be doing like trick shots and just some across the map shots with this thing. I'm excited, and it's one of those weapons I want to get good at, just so like whenever I could use it, I feel good. But you know, as also I think it'll be one of those weapons you're gonna see someone absolutely crush you, and you're gonna be like, damn, I wish I was good at that gun. Surprisingly, I actually like the Bulldog. And I don't really actually have a problem with how it looks. I think it looks rather cool. Yeah, it's a little generic, kind of looks like a Brecci or a Haymaker from Call of Duty, but you know, it's not bad. I like how it's fast firing, and it does definitely feel like a weaker version of the regular shotgun. However, I do still think we do need to have the original shotgun, you know, come back into Halo at some point, even though this is how it's going to be a live service game. And I'm hoping that performs more like the Combat Evolved shotgun, how it's definitely more of a powerful shotgun and has like the range to it. So I also like the AR, but it did seem too powerful. I think just the time kill needs to be toned down a little bit. There's also some other complaints I have about the AR, but I'm going to get into that later. But overall, I think it performed rather fine, and I really do like how they're sticking with the reach design for the assault rifle. Definitely more of a different take. I mean, I think some people probably would have liked if they had the more of like the Halo Combat Evolved or Halo 3-esque looking AR, but I think it's a cool move to do that. So on the other side of things, two weapons I'm not a big fan of are the Pulse Carbine and the Commando. The Pulse Carbine isn't bad. It's just awkward. I really don't know how to like say it. The delayed shots, it's kind of one of those things I really don't understand, like if you want to shoot directly at someone or kind of like maybe lead your shots in a way. It's just one of those interesting gimmicks that I think it will find its place, but I think it just needs to be made a little more clear, or how like this weapon is used. It's just not the most fun weapon, but like it's interesting to see how it performs though. And another thing with the Commando, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, it's kind of a little boring for me. I mean, it's deadly when you are accurate, but I mean, I think it's kind of hard to aim with it. I mean, and with the, you know, only 20 shots, you know, you kind of have to have your shots dead on. So I mean, part of it, yes, I wasn't good at it, but I'd like to see maybe them improve it in some way. I can't really say how, but we'll have to see. And just kind of another little gripe, I don't think it's the most exciting weapon design. It doesn't look bad by any means, but it just definitely reminds me of a Destiny rifle. So talk about the grenades. I personally thought they did a little too much damage compared to like previous titles in the game. I think with the lower time to kill that this game has, which if you played it, you probably noticed that you die really quick in this game compared to other Halo games. That could have had something to do with it. It just seems like with their high damage, it just can promote a lot of grenade spam. And I've also seen some people saying how there is no like friendly fire, which in one way it's good, so you don't have like, you know, asshole teammates trying to shoot you all the time for like a sniper rifle or a power weapon. But also just kind of like promotes just like unresponsible throwing of grenades, and it kind of like doesn't have that consequence of, you know, throwing it, which could just be really annoying. I mean, we all know grenade spam's annoying as it is, and I just kind of felt like I was just dealing with that a lot in this game. So another problem that's being addressed in the game, and I definitely like felt this, was the I guess the smart scope, whatever they're calling it in this game. So basically, with the AR, it has a smart scope feature that gives you a little zoom. I think it does kind of like reduce the accuracy, which in Halo 5 you still have the same amount of accuracy with shooting, or it was even like actually buff. But regardless, when you're shooting the AR in this smart zoom, if you get shot at, you don't get D-scoped, while if you're zoomed with a battle rifle or commando, you get shot at, you get D-scoped. That shouldn't be happening with these ranged weapons, but it doesn't happen with the AR. I think just all weapons should either be D-scoped while you're like scoped in, and get shot at, or if you get shot at, you don't get D-scoped at all. I think it should be either or, and I really just don't agree with how that's being worked. Or it should just be, I mean, I think it should just be, if you get shot at, you should get D-scoped. It's annoying, but it's kind of always been like that. We'll just have to see what they'll do, and I just think it needs to be fixed. But I think with the clarity and just clearness with 343, I think they would probably fix it or do something, because it was probably one of the higher issues that people were taking notice about the tech preview. So another thing I want to talk about is the equipment, and it's great to see this return to Halo. Obviously the shining star of equipment was the grapple hook. Man, guys, this thing is fun to use. I mean, the first time I really used it, I mean, it was a blast. I'm really enjoying it. I like how it just feels more like a very free grapple hook. It's not like the Black Ops 4 grapple hook where you literally just point it where you go and you just move in a straight line. While this, you can actually kind of like whip yourself around corners and stuff, and you have a lot of freedom to do a lot of cool things. I love how you could like grab weapons off weapon pads, grapple onto enemies and get like a melee kill. You even do trick shots, and just the amount of things you're going to see with the grapple hook, multiplayer and even campaign, it's going to be nuts. The drop wall and the threat detector were pretty straightforward with what they are. I did like the threat detector. I thought they worked pretty well. You can shoot threat detectors on other teammates, so you can have a teammate running around the map with a threat detector on it. The drop wall I thought was just kind of boring. It did have a pretty slow deployment time. I think it could be a little quicker because I feel like some instances I tried to deploy it, but I just died before I could even get the thing deployed, or like it just wouldn't come out quick enough that I would have that cover right there. So I guess if you want to call it equipment, but I'm not really, it's kind of its own thing. I think it's kind of interesting how the overshield and active camo, you can pick it up, but you could choose to use it whenever you want. I haven't really ran into problems with that. I thought it was helpful. It does seem there is a way you can indicate if a person is actually holding it, but they're not deploying it. It seems like if you have active camo on you, like there's a little blue glow on you, and I think with overshield, a little yellow glow. So I think it just allows more, like another layer of depth by allowing player choice during tactical moments in firefights. So I think that's really cool, and I'm interested to see maybe if they'll have like damage boost or maybe it's like speed boost, if it would probably work the same way. All right, the big one, guys. Gameplay. So I think it's probably safe to say 343 has kind of finally got it down with Halo Infinite and Sprint being present in the game. It's not a, this is kind of a really strange way to say it, or just take this, loose term to say it. It's not a quote unquote main feature of the game, in my opinion. Just kind of more of just a utility. It's there if you need it, just to make it get somewhere a little quicker. Problem of games in like Halo 4 and 5 is that there's a little animation and like a little delay. If you'd come out sprint and shoot, you'd have to re-raise your weapon and then shoot. And while Halo Infinite, you could pretty much just shoot right out of sprint instantly, pretty much, and there's not that little delay. It doesn't really like cause delay of the combat flow. And I'm glad to see this is kind of like the return to form of like always having your weapon up in multiplayer, that you're always able to shoot and move seamlessly at the same time. It doesn't seem like, if you run around, there's going to be consequences because you're just not being as aware. It seems like there's more of a encourage just to kind of like walk around at base speed, have your weapon up, and maybe just sprint, maybe if you just need to get to somewhere real quick. And also the thing of sprint, it's not that fast compared to the base movement speed. I mean, there's videos of people literally just walking at the base speed, following someone sprint, and the person sprinting is only a little faster than them, but you can't outrun someone though, even if they're going at base speed. So I think that's very cool. It's just kind of more of like maybe like a placebo effect. Like you go a little faster, but it's really not even doing a whole lot. So also Clamber and Slide are also returning in the game, and I really can't say much about them. I mean, they're in the game. I don't think it's really the worst. I think that's probably the better aspects of the advancement from Halo 5. I don't really mind it. I think the nicest thing about the Halo Infinite gameplay is just the emphasis, again, focus on the sandbox rather than giving all the abilities to the player like at the get-go like Halo 5 did. I just like how the tools are already this waiting for you on the map, and you have to figure out how you use them yourself rather than just here's the tools given to you, now just go shoot stuff, fly around the map. So as I mentioned earlier, the only complaint I have with the gameplay is the time to kill. I just feel like it's a little too quick. PvP matches, even though I only played 4 games against players, which I will say was very sweaty, but they were fun. I mean, the thing is, you got a lot of people playing, or in these player versus player. These are passionate Halo fans. I mean, we were all going crazy and hard in these matches. But I think with, like I said, since the PvP matches were a little quick, I think just the shield strength should be maybe like increased just a little higher, and matches would last a little longer. I mean, it seems like matches just kind of flew by, and like it just kind of was like, I didn't really get time to enjoy the match in a way. And like I said, I also think that the higher time to kill would also allow players to make quicker decisions during combat, just help them maybe get like a leg up and during a fight. Like there's times that I wanted to grapple out of a fight, but before I could even like react, I was already dead, and I'd probably die right when I would start grappling, even though the grapple kind of a slow get-go speed. So my biggest complaint about the gameplay, and this is something that I really just did not like at all, was the friend and foe coloring outline. This did cause some confusion. I know there was a glitch that was existing that literally the outlines would not turn on for some reason in some games. So my first game, I literally hopped into a match. I was pretty close to some enemies and teammates, and I wasn't really paying attention to the glow, rather just the Spartans. I wasn't really able to tell who was who, and I honestly thought even though it was kind of stupid for me to think, I thought it was like a match of free-for-all, and then I realized, oh, and I then start paying attention to the glow. It just kind of takes it away, and also just seems like the glows are just really, really bright. You could see an enemy like clear across the map. I mean, there's really no, like, I guess, little action of stealth almost anymore with the glow. I understand 343's emphasis on they want Spartan customization, but at the same time, I think it just, if it's getting away with gameplay and also causing just that problem of confusion and also just being dead giveaways for the enemy, that's not good, and just it puts you and also the enemy at a major disadvantage. I think having it like a teammate glow, I think that's fine constantly during the match. I mean, if that's the least they want to do. I personally just rather not have any of the player outlines at all. RVB just needs to come back just because it due to its legacy, and it's just more simple. I think it'd probably be something they could easily put into the game, and it's just much more easily identifiable. Maybe they can have it in the settings like you can with the outline glow. You could just change, maybe my friendly Spartans are green and the enemy team's purple. Just something like that. I think it'd be easier and much better. So moving on to bots, I can't really say much, but I just thought the bots played really well in this game. They felt organic, and they did some things that I literally would think, oh wow, players would actually do this, rather than some of the bots you'd see in like Call of Duty. They're kind of, well, just bot. I think that's just gonna be really good for just warming up and practicing before matches, and it's just a feature that Halo's needed for a long time. My biggest thing with the bot, please allow foragers to be able to put bots and like essentially program them wherever, however they want in custom game match. I think this would be cool because people could like make like custom matches of little campaign missions, maybe with the Spartan bot, or just who knows, it's going to be able to fill like void spots in multiplayer that usually sometimes that would be a big issue. You'd have like a match of Slayer, a 2v4, when you could now just throw in bots and that could be solved the issue. Yeah, they might not be the best, but it's better than nothing. Big thumbs up for the bots. Thank you for 343 for finally bringing the bots into Halo. Now, customization. This is probably the best customization we've had since Reach, and it might even be better than Reach, just because more of the level of depth of customization. Now we have the ability to customize our gloves, the armor kits, which I'm still a little confused on what the purpose is. There's no armor kits in the actual tech preview. I just think that it needs to be, you know, explain a little bit more what it does, and hopefully with the next tech preview that we have some armor kits to actually mess around and customize with, so that can actually be made clear. I also thought AI customization was really cool. I think it's gonna be really fun. I mean, you're gonna have AIs of, you know, maybe hopefully they get like stuff like Mendicant Bias or like Black Box from Hunt the Truth. I think he's from Hunt the Truth. Don't quote me on that one. Or, you know, 343 Guilty Spark. Hell, even Sergeant Johnson. I think it get really wacky, and maybe even have like AIs from other games as well. I also think having the prosthetic attachments coming back in Infinite, even to like a greater level, you could like do the whole, you know, a portion of the armor all the way up, and even your legs. I think that's really cool. It just allows just you have like your Spartans almost have like a story almost. It's cool. I mean, why not? Robot arms are cool for Spartans. So another thing of the customization, this is the part that I just don't like at all. They look great, and that's armor coatings. I think the armor coatings look great. It's just the whole system behind it. It's to be monetized. It doesn't make sense to me why that's something they would monetize. I know it's a free-to-play multiplayer, and that makes sense. Like, something has to be monetized. Having your armor in color, like, just seems dumb to me. I mean, I can't really say anything else. It's just bad in my opinion, and I'm glad some are going to be unlockable through, you know, in-game challenges and stuff, but I'm hoping that just they don't make like the best of the best through paywalls, but just something we're going to have to unfortunately deal with. I guess speaking of microtransactions and monetization, I haven't really seen many people talk about this, but there really isn't much to talk about. It's just the battle pass, the item shop. It's just okay for me. I think it's Halo Infinite's going to have the best battle pass system, especially how you could just backtrack and go back to previous battle passes like you can with the Master Chief Collection. I think that's great. You don't lose out your money like you do with games like COD and stuff, and I think it's just Halo setting a trend and doing the battle passes are the right way. I mean, they're not my favorite thing to do, battle passes. In the item shop, I mean, I'm glad that you can pick and choose what you want from the item shop. So just some kind of miscellaneous things to talk about the Halo Infinite tech preview. A complaint I have, and it's kind of seems like there's a, you know, definitely a workaround to this. There's so many announcers and voices in the multiplayer matches. I mean, we have 3 different people talking at the same time. So we have Jeff Steitzer, the Halo announcer, which is a default, has to be there, which is perfectly fine. Our own personal AI, and also the Spartan chatter. And I know there's a way you could turn off Spartan chatter. There is also a switch that you could turn off like the general announcer, but it turns off Steitzer and also your personal AI, and just there's no like communication. I think they need to have like some sort of like just, you know, in-game like toggles. You could have, oh, I don't want to hear Jeff Steitzer talk, and no personal AI and Spartan. I think the personal AI are fun. There's some fun things they say. I mean, I really enjoyed Fret probably the most. I mean, that seems like the guy that everyone enjoyed the most out of the tech preview. I won't lie, it just gets a little annoying hearing the AI say obvious things like picked up a battle rifle. Well, you ain't kidding, I know what I picked up. So I think this is something they will do. I'm not too worried about it. I mean, it seemed like enough people were talking about it. They want them to put some toggle switches in. Another thing that I want to talk about that I wasn't crazy about were the medals. I don't think they look bad. It's just where they're placed, in my opinion. I think they need to be a little bit bigger and more noticeable. They are bringing some really cool new medals in. Like if you go like a 40-player kill streak, I think you will get the medal called Demon or something like that. There's a lot of cool new ones for the kill streak, which I think is dope. The main thing with the medals, they just need to make them bigger, more noticeable, really give you that feeling of satisfaction, because you look at these medals, they're very small and you just kind of really don't know what you're looking. So I also really enjoyed the soundtrack for this game that I was playing in the menus. I mean, you just had the aspects of Halo being ancient, mysterious, epic, and just badass. There's some cool electric guitar things in there. Guitars I really appreciated, and it felt like a Halo game with the music. Some aspects of I kind of felt a little like Destiny vibes, which was kind of cool. Very happy with that, and very happy to hear the original Halo theme come back in the main menu. So it's the first time since Halo Combat Evolved. And still in the aspect of sounds, I think the weapons sound great, especially the skewer. I mean, that thing just sounds weird and alien. I mean, you can hear like it's a freaking metal rod being shot at you. You hear all like the gears, like the mechanics of the gun just moving around. So cool. The alien guns are really good. I really love the sound of the heat wave. Just sound more like the Bungie era games. And the plasma pistol has the classic supercharged hum. So that kind of does it for me, guys, with talking about Halo Infinite in its first tech preview. And I guess my overall opinion on it, I really enjoyed it. I am looking forward for playing Halo again. I mean, I always play it, but I think it's going to be a good Halo. I think they just finally found the balance and how to cater to both fans of old and new, and kind of just brought together. And this might be definitely one of the best Halo multiplayers of all time. Looking to be really enjoyable. There's some things, I really liked how they handled, especially the sprint. And yeah, I mean, I can't really say more than that. I just enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward for more tech previews. I will provide the link, guys, down below for the Halo Insider program. And please, guys, if you're a PC, don't be like me and get stuck on Xbox One, or potentially again, update your DX diag. I had a problem that, guys, that it said not NA, like not active for some of the things. If you see that, I would update it. I think that's some reason why they can't send an invite. So guys, thank you for tuning in this video. Please leave a comment or a comment, mostly just what you guys like or disliked about the flight in general. I just like to know. And yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Have yourself a fantastic day.